Okay, here we are, Kirk. Final day before we deliver your second generation shaving horses. The first project was this one about 8 years ago, and Nick and I noticed that you made some minor modifications to the previous version. Looks like you added some 3-hole positions to adjust the height of the treadle. This guy right here, up and down. So the original version did not have the T-nuts in it, and it did not have the T-topped 3/8 threaded rod. So we added that off of the new version. So back to the new version. All right, like I said a minute ago, you have the treadle here, and it has the 3 T-nut positions with 3/8 threaded rod with a nice T-top, and we have a key for that, so you could turn it out with a drill. The T-nuts, these guys right here, are compliments of Vince Marisi, metal fabricator extraordinaire. He welded those for me, put those things together for me very nicely. We also noticed that on the previous version, there was a little bit of sag in the seat on a couple of them. So we're going to move over here and show you a stand-up version of this. And my neighbor down the street, Kenny Amick, actually manufactured this L bracket for us. Fabricated that L bracket. Kenny Amick from SAR Sheet Metal out in Rosedale. Metal fabricator extraordinaire. He added that piece for us. Then he also gave us this nice C bracket to tie up the legs. So that was a nice piece, pretty nice heavy piece of steel. Kenny also gave us this very nice Z bracket. All right, that's on the front of the treadle. And I'm going to go ahead and reach back here and show you what that does. So Nick and I were trying to figure out how we take the nice shaving horse knife and have it handy for the guy who is drawing bows and arrows on this on the shaving horse. So the Z bracket works out perfectly, sits in there very nicely. So all the knives actually are always attached to the shaving horses, not sitting on the bench or on the ground. So that's a nice little addition. We stiffened everything up, the seat with the metal, some extra bolts, the T thread, the Z bracket for the shaving knife, and then on the back of this, on the back of the new shaving horses, we added this really nice accent piece, compliments of Jim at Chesapeake Woodworking. It's a fleur-de-lis. He cut these things out for us on the CNC machine. Nice little accent, Chesapeake Woodworking down in Baltimore City. They do all top-end cabinet making and all kind of millwork and millwork fabrication. Pretty crazy shop, really cool. So this is version 2.0 of the shaving horse that I worked on 8 years ago for another Eagle Scout project, Joseph Napoli. And then we did a little update on the key, right? The key of the previous shaving horse was 3 pieces scabbed together with a nice little slot. We decided to forego the slot on the new key and do a nice solid block of 6x6 and add this really heavy duty black iron handle, and the key actually sits up in here and goes underneath of the platform. Let me see if I could do this. Slides under the platform. And as you slide the key in and out, it adjusts the height of your working piece in here. So the more you slide this thing forward, the smaller that space gets for your working piece. There you go. All right. And then you just slide it out for smaller, for larger pieces. So that's the key, and that's the treadle. So the second version of a shaving horse for Kirk Dreier at Cromwell Valley Park. Oh, I failed to mention that 8 of the 12 keys that we made, we're giving Kirk 2 extra ones, but 8 of the 12 keys that we made, Scouts Are Thrifty, were left over from Kyle Kamegna's Eagle Project and Brian Hughes's Eagle Project. Then also the accent pieces in the back. Scouts Are Thrifty again. These pieces were left over. We were able to get all of these pieces cut off of Brian Hughes's Eagle Scout Project, scraps left over. So we brought them home and we were able to give them to Jim to use. Then here's a surprise for Kirk. Kirk didn't know he was getting 10 brand new shaving knives, draw knives. So he's got 10 brand new shaving knives in this nice box. This entire box, it was actually made, again, Scouts Are Thrifty, made out of leftover. All the parts of this box were made out of leftover parts from my son's Eagle Scout my oldest son's Eagle Scout project back in 2012. All these parts are from pipe organ, from a pipe organ like you see in here in the church. These were the leftover pedals that we had, and so we fabricated this nice little box. And if you look real close inside, if you can see, all these parts here are all ripped down pieces of the shaving pedals. There's only a couple things on here that are actually purchased that were new, and that's the handle. And the handle is just round turned with some paracord. The stars were an after effect because the cheap Chinese steel that I used, all 4 of the heads of the screws that I were trying to get in here actually cracked and broke. But anyway, the heads came off, so I had to cover the ugliness. And then you got the handle on the top, and then you have the 2 handles on either side of the box, so you can carry this 2 different ways. Probably use the 2 handles. My youngest son, Steven, Star Scout, actually weighed the box by itself without the knives in it, and it was 34 pounds with all the knives in the box. When you pick it up from here, it actually was 52 pounds. So 10 knives inside of the box is a 52 pound box. On the bottom of the box, there's some really cool all-weather casters that you use in ledger boards for decks. So this thing will not sit on the ground and absorb water. So there you go, Kirk Dreier. I'll see you in about 3 years, 2 or 3 years, when we do our next round of Eagle Scout projects for you.